Welcome back. So now we have our file service available. Now what do we need inside a file service? Inside a file service, no matter if it's Firebase, File Storage, or if it's Dropbox or whatever, we're going to need an upload function to kind of upload files in our service, right? And what do we need to kind of upload? Well, we're going to need a path. Where do you want to upload this? Do you want to upload it to local storage somewhere? What's the path of the file that you want to save it to, right? The second thing we need is going to be the file, the actual file that we want to upload right here. So there we go. Now we have those two pieces of information. Now we just need to use them. And in our case, we are using Firebase, so we're going to use this AFSO or the Firebase storage, right? And on that guy, we have an upload function. Very easy stuff. Now notice it's returning an Angular Fire upload task. Let me just put that in here right now so we don't forget it. Angular Fire upload task. There it is. I'll just put it in here as the return statement for now, and then we'll ask this guy to return it for now. We'll change that a little bit later, and I'll explain why. But we kind of, to upload something, all we have to do is call the upload function and put in, you guessed it, a path and a file. And that's all we have to do. Now you can add more information by actually adding a third parameter with metadata, but we're not going to do that. So you could add a third parameter right here with some extra metadata. We're not going to put anything in here because we're going to use extra metadata. We're going to save that in Firestore later on if we want it, because we are going to make our own file system in Firestore. Sweet. Again, I'm doing that to kind of make it independent of Firebase. If we wanted to make this, we could put a file system inside an SQL database, and then we could put the files, the actual files, into Dropbox or anything, and we can do that pretty easily by reusing what we are going to build right here. So we're going to try and make ourselves independent of Firebase. Not that Firebase is bad, it's just a way for us to kind of change it later on if we want to. If Firebase gets too expensive, or I don't know. Sweet. So we're going to put the metadata somewhere else, so we don't want it in there. There we go. Now we actually made an upload function. So I have one more big thing I want to change before we actually move on, and that's, even though I made an upload function in a service, meaning that people from the outside doesn't know about Firebase, Fire Storage right now, they'll still know about the upload task, because that's what I'm returning right now. I'm not satisfied with that. I know I'm an old angry man right here. I could just keep that and that would be fine. But again, I want to decouple myself from Firebase as much as possible to kind of say then it's easy for me to change if I want later on. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to make our own upload task, and that's what I'm going to do. Inside my file system right here, I'm going to make a new file. I'm going to call it upload task ts. That's going to be my new upload task file. And what I want to do with this task is pretty much just export a simple class right here, and that class is going to be upload task, right? Now that's going to kind of provide to me all the information that I need in my system later on to kind of know about the upload. Now what do I need? Well, if I go back right here and see what such a task right here can provide for me, I just have to do a dot right here and I'll see it. It can provide a normal promise right here. It can provide a cancel, catch, a download URL. That's something I want. It can also provide a percentage change somehow. That's something I want. And a snapshot changes. Now that's more of a Firebase thing, but at least these two, I want those as a minimum right here. So I'm going to provide a download URL as an observable string. Now notice, an observable string has nothing to do with Firebase, right? I'm going to provide a promise. A promise has nothing to do with Firebase. I'm going to provide a couple of functions later on if I want to, but nothing in here says Firebase. That's kind of why I want to make my own task. And it might look like overkill, and it might even be overkill, but that's still, I want you guys to understand that good programming sometimes has to involve making more classes to kind of separate logic, right? So now let's look at the upload task that we're creating right here. First of all, what I wanted was kind of a way to get the observable download URL right here. So that's the first thing we're going to do inside the upload task. We're going to make a download URL, and that's going to be an observable of the type string right here. There we go. So now we have that available, and we're going to make that into something you can pick to have. You don't have to have it if you don't want to. And there we go. Now we're going to that download URL right here. That needs an N. We're going to now create in our service, instead of actually returning an Angular Fire task, we're going to return an upload task, right? Again, I'm just doing this to kind of hide from Firebase, hide Firebase from the outside world. Now what can we do that now? Because we need to kind of start making this task, right? So instead of just returning this guy, we're actually going to save it as a task right here in a variable, let task. There we go. And then we're going to use that task to create a new object right here, and we're going to return the download URL right here, and that's going to come from the task. Notice how simple that actually is. So that's kind of how I just map this right here, and that needs to be a constant. And all I've done is pretty much just taken the setup that Firebase provides, and I actually converted it into my own setup right here. But it means that now people from the outside, they don't have to know about the Angular upload task, which means that nobody needs to be dependent now on my Fire storage from Angular Fire setup. I know that's, again, it's okay if you guys feel that's overkill, and it might be in some cases, but I think, again, I love the separation part right here, that we were trying to kind of split out things and say we want to work with upload task, not with Angular Firestore. Next lesson, I'll try and show you how we'll use this, and then maybe it'll make even more sense. But that's it for this lesson. See you next time. Have fun.